You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. What up, everybody? It's your boy, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast, and today I'm talking to a total queen of indie comics. I see Ma hustling for a minute, son. I love it. I love her hustle. I'm totally inspired by this woman right here. She does a whole lot of great stuff. She has a character called Rayven Choi. She has a press called Shero Comics, yo. She don't stop, yo. She a screenwriter, doing everything, pitching everywhere. She a kick-ass entrepreneur. Who am I speaking about? It's the one and only Shequeta Smith. What's up?
Hey. How you doing? I'm doing good. It's a good day.
It's a great day. Yo, first off, yo, man, I'm so inspired by you. Thank you for what you do in your grind, yo. You keep me motivated, and I'm happy to have you on. So thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule just to chit-chat with me for a little bit.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been a long time.
Absolutely. I haven't felt one of you guys don't know. She gives the best hugs. 2019, I'm still impressed by that hug. I still feel it to this day. She gives the best hugs. So what's up, Ma? How you been? How you been dealing with COVID?
Man, just working. Like COVID, the pandemic's been a blessing for me. I've been able to kind of just sit down and just go at it. Like I got 4 comic books that came out in the past 18 months.
Oh,
wrote 2 movies. Just finished today, actually. I'm just polishing it right now, and then just been pitching on movies in Hollywood too. So the past year has been crazy.
Yeah, I love, folks. You hear this? Yo, woman keeps busy. I love it. But let's take a couple of steps back over here. Pop. Let's do a rewind real quick, like an old school tape. All right.
All right.
Yes, folks, a tape. I'll show you one day what it looks like for you youngins. Let's talk about how you even started. Yo, like, you know, where you from, and what was your first taste of any fandom that made you fall in love with it?
Oh, wow. I'm from Salisbury, North Carolina, which is a small town outside of Charlotte and Greensboro. It's kind of approximately in between both of those places. I grew up reading Archie comics. That's all we had access to. We didn't have a comic book shop in my town. So I had Archie comic books, and then my grandmother would bring me the funny pages on Sunday mornings and just kind of hand them to me. So I read those. I went to NC State. While I was at NC State, I was a rep for Def Jam Rockefeller. So the fandoms that I started with were the hip hop fandoms, which were DMX, Jay-Z, Drew Hill, Cisco. We had everybody.
You were in during that era.
During that era, it was amazing. Girl. It was amazing. I mean, I met so many people. I interviewed them. Music Soul Child. Ludacris is the first person I ever interviewed ever. It was his first when What's Your Pussy came out.
Stop lying. So your first interview. Breaking In is already the OG Ludacris before he was the OG. That's crazy.
Before he was the OG, we had it was a fun day hanging out with him. He was really a lot of fun. But yeah, I didn't even know that I was going to be writing really until my English professor suggested it. She's like, you should really consider screenwriting. I'm just like, what the hell is that?
So what year are we talking about when that came into effect?
When that came in, that was my freshman year of college. So that was like 98. Nice. Yeah,
wow.
I'm that old. So
you young, you better stop it, girl.
So my English professor suggested it to me. I didn't come back to it until maybe my senior year. I started working on scripts, and then I was a finalist in Sundance, and I was like, maybe I should take this seriously. So Def Jam was like, are you ready to come up north? And I was like, I'm gonna go out west. So
wait a minute. A finalist on Sundance early on when you started?
That was my first script.
How did you even get that to happen, Ma?
That's the only place I knew about that I could submit a script to was Sundance, because of course everybody knows about Sundance. So I just submitted it, not even thinking anything, and they were like, "Oh, you're a finalist." So I was just like, "Oh, okay, so maybe I'm actually good at this."
Say word. So blessed from the get, girl. That's awesome.
It's been a lot of things that have happened that have shown me that I'm supposed to be on this path as a storyteller, and those were the types of things that would happen. That would be like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So
so after college, did that though. I did that. Nice. Okay. So you did that, and how did you move forward from there?
I spent about 2 years outside of college at home, just kind of working on stuff, writing stuff. So Rayven Choi was the second screenplay I ever wrote, was Rayven Choi. And then I was doing comic book stuff. I started working on this comic that was going to be like a Black Jetsons. I still have the concept art. So we did like a lot of concept art during that time. So comics were already in the play.
Wait,
but
can you talk about that for a minute? You fucking
yeah.
man. I love the whole idea already. Black Jetsons. What's the difference from the white Jetsons?
I don't know what it was going to be. It was just the look of the way we drew them was kind of like the Black Jetsons. Okay. I'll show it to you. I still have the concept art. I'm not sure where I was going with the story or whatever. Like I'd never really got anywhere with it. It was kind of, we created that kind of get a look on it, but I'm not sure where I was going with that. That was like 20 years ago. So
yeah, we still got to do that. We need that. I think I would love to see that shit right now.
I need to look back at that, and definitely. But so comics were already kind of in the mix. I moved to LA in 2004. I worked on Everybody Hates Chris as like the PA, the first PA, and then I worked on Flavor of Love, which was absolutely crazy. It was the first season with New York, and
yeah, it was a mess. You were involved in that joint. So wait, how did you even start stepping into that industry? Like, was it hard? What did you do?
Someone contacted me. I used to work for this company that did. They used to do medical shows, and so they knew about me because I could type really fast. So I used to do logging for the writers. I would tell them what was happening in each scene, and so. They called me about the Flavor of Love thing out of nowhere, and so I went to work on that show. I worked on the first 2 seasons, which was crazy.
So blessed, girl. Wow.
But then Hollywood wasn't paying me no money, really. So I was like, I gotta make money. So
they're that cheap on you out there?
I mean, the PA back then it was like $8 an hour or something. So
what?
Yeah,
that's not even minimum right now.
No, well, not now, but back then it probably was. But I was like.
Right now, it's still probably $8 an hour.
Probably so. I don't think it's changed too much at all. So, so back then it was just like, I'm not making enough money to live comfortably in LA. So I'm like, I'm going to do what I know how to do, which is go to marketing and sales. So I went to work in corporate America for about 15 years. I worked for Nike for a couple of years. I worked for Coca-Cola for several years. Wow. I used to run stuff in Beverly Hills for Coke. So that was a lot of fun. It was interesting.
Check you out, yo! Jesus Christ, you inspire the shit out of me. You work for top companies like that, yo. That's awesome. Like, what was the approach? Show people, tell people how you did it though. How did you land in those type of spots?
Well, from promotions and stuff with Def Jam in college, marketing was kind of my thing, and sales was my thing. So I knew I wanted to go work for Coca-Cola. I started talking about it months before I even applied, and so I went in and did one interview, and I was like, they stupid if they don't hire me. And so they hired me. They weren't stupid. They weren't stupid. So they hired me. So I went in and I worked, had Pasadena at the Rose Bowl. I was a rep in Pasadena for about 3 years, and then 3 years in Beverly Hills. They switched me over to there. So I was handling stuff for them. And while I was doing that, every year, my tax returns, I would use that money to shoot a short film. So I was able to do my writing stuff by financing it through my day job. So that's what I did for a long time until things broke for me. About 2019 is when it really happened with Ron Howard's program. I was a part of Imagine Impact. I wanted to write a movie in 8 weeks. So it was like a boot camp.
A boot camp. So how did you even find out this boot camp, and how was the whole experience?
They were advertising it. I mean, it was a new program, kind of like a incubator like they do in Silicon Valley. And so the first year I heard about it, I applied. I didn't get in, but I didn't think I did well in the video. The next time I was like, the same Coca-Cola strategy, like, okay, I'm getting in this time. This is what I'm going to do. So I did a cool video kind of showing off what I'd done in the comic book world and just kind of how I like badass women. And the story I was pitching to them was about a badass woman. And so they picked me for the program. It was the same thing. It was like, I went in for the interview, like, they stupid if they don't hire me. And then they called me. So I was like, Ron Howard called me, actually. So I went in and
Ron Howard called you.
Ron Howard called me. So, my Comic-Con, Shero Con, it was the first year of it, actually. The first time I did Shero Con, 2 days later, I was like, I'm going to start working on Rayven Choi book 4. And Ron Howard called me like, I want you to come be in this program. I was like, this is Ron Howard? For real? So yeah, it was crazy.
Is that a prank call? Get out of here.
Yeah, I almost couldn't answer it. I was like, who is this calling me from Beverly Hills?
Say words so random like that.
So random like that. So I went in that program and wrote a screenplay in 8 weeks and came out of the program with my agent and my manager, just ready to kick ass, and has been writing and pitching and stuff ever since. So
you recommend programs like that to people that want to get in?
It's the best way to get in because you kind of have, they kind of vouch for you that you're a good writer. I mean,
but they got to invite you though, no?
Well, you apply, but then you have
Okay.
to have a product that's good enough that they want to back, and you have to have something that they're interested in. So the project that I worked on was called Taking the Throne. It's about a black girl takes a DNA test and finds out she's kin to a tribe in Africa, and it's a really rich tribe that owns a
Ooh.
diamond mine. So the queen is dying, and they want her to come and be their next queen. So it's a whole lot of drama, and
Oh
it's a
shit.
fun story. It's kind of like the Black Princess Diaries.
I
Type
got
of
you. I'll give
yeah.
you Puerto Rican King Diaries. I'm afraid to do my 23andMe because if I'm Indian royalty in Puerto Rico, man, they better
Yeah.
watch out, bro. It's a wrap.
I mean, that's what happened. I was going to take a DNA test, and I'm like, what if I'm kin to Shaka Zulu or somebody? Like, what's this gonna mean?
Yeah,
Can I
exactly. Well, apparently
yeah.
with my wife and daughter, they did it, right? So my wife was like maybe 2% Indian, but my daughter wound up being a very high percentage Indian.
Oh wow.
So which
Okay.
means okay, she gets that from daddy. Like now I'm
Okay.
like I'm about to do mine to see how far I'm
Okay.
in within my own because I always told them I know for a fact I'm Spaniard and Taino for a fact
Mm,
because I met
okay.
my great grandma
Okay.
and she looked straight up like a Indian woman. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Straight up.
Okay.
Old school. So it's like I always knew that. So when I
Hmm.
saw that, it gave me that like, yeah, okay. I
Yeah.
I win there. But what else am I apparently?
Yeah. It was cool to kind of get that. Like, I found out like almost every country in Africa except 4 I have lineage to.
Oh,
So I'm
you're
like
gonna laugh
80.
here. My wife loves
Really?
the Nigerian reggae music. What's that called
Yeah.
again? The Afro beats.
The Afro beats. Yeah. Me too.
We're about to go see some homies soon in Orlando. They're doing a concert, right?
Oh,
And
nice.
so when she gets a 23 in me, that's all after, of course, so she already loves this. She goes like, "Oh
Hmm.
my god, no wonder I love it. I'm 3% Nigerian."
I'll tell her I'm like 33% Nigerian, I believe is what I am. But I found out
uh,
that I have Jamaican roots. And that's my thing. Like
hey,
reggae music is
no
like,
wonder you have so many jobs. Hey, man,
yes.
remember
And
that?
that's what everybody says. Like when I go to Jamaica, they're like, oh, you coming home? You're from here? I'm just like, no, I'm not. But then when I took the DNA test, it shows me that I have lineage to Jamaica, like my great grandfather on my father's
Crazy.
side, I
You're like,
believe.
apparently I am now, guys. So sorry.
Yeah, I am. I'm coming home and get my get my passport for Jamaica happening
So
so I
I
can
want
go home.
people to know over here about Son, man, because Rayven Choi has been a character you've been working on. Like you said,
Yeah.
you got volume 4 popping. So explain to people who Raven is.
Well, we just released volume 5 on Saturday.
5. Oh god
So we're
damn.
done. So it's complete. The
Jesus
Rayven
Christ,
Choi
yo.
coming of age story is done
It's
finally,
done?
thankfully.
Really? So
It's done.
it's a 5-parter in
It's
her
a
life?
5-parter, and then the next step is we're going to trade paperback, hopefully by Christmas. I
What?
don't know. It just depends on what happens the next few months.
Look at you smashing it. So tell people who
Yeah.
Raven is.
Okay, so Raven is about a girl. She's 5 years old. A hitman kills her parents right in front of her. They send her off to Korea as witness protection, where she's adopted by her father's best friend. She spends 20 years in Korea as grows up in the culture. She finds a clue her dad left in her teddy bear. It's a taped confession of what he knew. And so she decides to come back to America to find the killer, and she becomes a bounty hunter in the process. So it's a real kick-ass black chick, grows up in Korea. She's a martial artist because they put her in martial arts when she was young to kind of control her anger, her issues from like her parents being killed or whatever. And so she gets really, really good at it. And so we're going to go back and do a prequel showing her as a kid. But this book is just her coming of age story of her as like a 25-year-old, like going from a kid to a 25-year-old and showing her finding the killer. So it's a lot of fun.
So when are we getting the full-length movie on Raven, huh?
I don't know if I'm not focused on a movie next, actually, interestingly enough. I wrote a pilot for it. They wanted me to do TV. I wrote a pilot for it, but I'm not going in that direction right now. We're going towards the gaming world right now. So that's what we're
gaming.
Gaming.
Talk about that, girl.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I don't have a lot to talk about,
super
but just like I've
entrepreneur.
been in meetings or whatever with people just talking about it. So that's where I'm taking Raven. I want some Tomb Raider type of stuff to happen with her. I have a whole idea for the story for what she's going to be doing with the Sabers, who are the 2 guys who help her in DC. So yeah, I'm like, that's where I'm on right now. It's the whole gaming world.
Oh, I love that, yo. And kind of what really made you decide to take that step? Or what is it about that narrative that attracts you more?
I just feel like kind of like I felt when I started in the comics with Raven. It was just like there's a place for us there, and there's no paint there. Like there's not really anything, no black woman that's leading that type of story. And then it's just like there's a whole big world out there that loves games, and it's just like, why not put Rayven into that? I mean, we've already kind of traveled with the books to different countries, so it's just like, why not go back there with a game for them to play through her and kind of feel what her vision or what she's out here doing, kicking ass through Rayven. So, and I like games. I'm a gamer. I love Mortal Kombat. Like when Mortal Kombat came out a few months ago, I ran out the whole theater to go watch it myself. So that's
I like that movie. I actually enjoyed the hell out of it, and I like the video game, especially now that I could be spawned. So if you ever want to play me, I'm more than willing to kick your ass.
Okay. Well, you on PlayStation?
I'm on Xbox though.
Can we play together on there?
I don't know if it has a cross-platform possibility. Just let me know. I would be very willing to kick your ass.
I don't think you're gonna beat me, but I mean, you can play. But yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I'm talking shit here, folks. She'll probably fucking smash me in a heartbeat. I love it. All right, so let's get into those video games, dude. Let me ask you, what was your go-to video game back in the day, other than Mortal Kombat? If not that,
I think it was Mortal Kombat. Like Mortal Kombat, I love Super Mario. I love Donkey Kong. I love Pac-Man, like the old school games. Galaga. I'm into all of those types of games. Street Fighter, of course, they had. I mean, it was like they had the Asian side of things, and I'm obsessed with Asian, just like the Wu-Tang and how they're obsessed with us. It's like I think their culture is dope, and so I like mixing I like mixing culture. So you'll see that in my writing, types of things that I do. Like I have a black girl that goes to Russia type of story. So it's just like I'm into that type of stuff. It's kind of crossing cultures.
I dig it.
So that was what the gaming world was for me.
Since you mentioned Wu-Tang, have you been watching the show? I just want to get to know you.
I haven't gotten to the new season. I binge watched the first season like overnight. I was up until like 6 a.m. watching because it was so good.
Yeah, right.
So I'm like, I just finished a new script, so now I have some time to go and like binge watch everything. So I'm ready to go.
Wait
go
until you get to season 2, get into the music, and it's gonna be the
ultimate.
All of a sudden, I guarantee you're gonna be standing up in the middle of your living room talking about.
No, I am. I am a Wu fan, so yeah, Wu-Tang love the kids.
No, excellent. How important is music in what you do?
Oh my gosh. So like I said, I started in music, and so when I'm writing, I have to make a soundtrack. Like that's just I have to make a soundtrack before I write. So like the story I wrote earlier this year was a Native American story. So I went and found Native American chant music to kind of listen to visualize the scenes. The script that I just finished today that I'm polishing right now, it's like Miss Congeniality set in a mega church. So it's a Christian script, but it's still a police FBI buddy comedy. But with that one, it's like a lot of upbeat gospel, like a lot of Kirk Franklin. So like I can see the scenes and what's happening in the scenes. So it's pivotal for me. I mean, I can write without it, but with it, it's just like I can see things. It helps me visualize. So music is very important for me.
I love it. Yeah, I call it, people sometimes call it the noise for me because I put on a little bit of anything and everything, whether it's metal, hip hop, symphony, bachata, merengue, reggaeton, you know what I mean? I have the craziest mix that even my next door neighbor was like, yo, kid, you inspire me, bro. What the hell are you listening to? Like, what's that playlist, son? You got to hook me up.
Yep. That's the way I am. I leave here playing like gospel music and I come back playing Muse, and my neighbors are just like, what?
That was music. How dare you?
Yes.
That's awesome. Is religion important in your creation? Since you mentioned Christian and gospel and all that.
Well, I grew up in the South, so I'm in the Bible Belt. I wouldn't consider myself very religious, though. I'm very more so spiritual. So, like the past 2 scripts that I wrote went from Native American spirituality and all of that to like this, where it's just like more organized religion. So the story is this guy who's not very religious having to go undercover as a preacher. So it's that type of story where he kind of finds his faith in the middle of all of that. And so my spirituality is just like it overtakes everything. My relationship with God is just so strong. So it's just like in Hollywood, if you don't have a relationship with God, you better find one, because this place is absolutely bananas.
Yeah, that's the devil's playground, kiddo.
It is. So it's just something in the air, I tell you. So you gotta have some kind of foundation. Yeah, and that too is more than that. But yeah, so you have to have that foundation of some kind of spirituality or something that grounds you, or have really good people around you as well, because this town is not for the weak.
How have you found the people in your team that support everything that is Shero?
Yeah, my tribe. people that I came out here with, some people that are still here, there are people that I meet through other people, people I met at Comic Cons, people that are interested in what I'm doing. So I meet people on LinkedIn. I met someone this past weekend that kind of walked into my life and just been helping ever since. So it's just like, yeah, I meet people in all different places, but I've been able to kind of pick out good people. That's the thing. You have to be able to pick out the right people that aren't jealous or aren't, the people that aren't trying to take you down. And that's the thing. There's a lot of sharks out there in this town, so you kind of have to watch out for that. Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think people have that type of nature? Why are they so afraid of competition?
Because they're people. They're people, and a lot of people don't know how to process their emotions. They don't know how to deal with, maybe childhood traumas or just things that they grew up with. There's some people that are still talking about stuff that happened to them in the 5th grade. So now that they got some power in Hollywood, it's like, I'm gonna make everybody, suffer because that girl didn't go out with me in the 5th grade. So this girl, I'm gonna make her do this. And so it's just like I think a lot of people's traumas are coming out in their status. When they get bigger, they just kind of, you are who you are. So it's like, I think Oprah says, it's like whoever you were before you had money, it only exacerbates. It only gets bigger when you do have money. So you get to be that person times 10. If you're a bad person when you're broke, you can only imagine what you are when you're rich.
We're talking on that power business, like even worse than rock. Okay.
Well, yeah.
Do you watch Power at all by 50 Cent?
I don't like 50 Cent.
No.
I'm sorry.
No
I just don't. I like his music or whatever. I just don't like the stuff that he does out here in these streets. You saw what happened when Michael K. Williams died and him like tweeting that stuff. It was just like
he's a social media ass for sure.
Yeah, that's my problem with him. It's like you ain't gotta be like that though. It's just like you are successful.
I hear you. This is why, for example, when they did the recent verses, I don't know if you saw it, Fat Joe and Ja Rule.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which was big. It was really big, over 2 million viewers. And yes, Swiss Beats says nothing about that. But within that, what I kept reading, because I'm a person, even though I'm watching them, I'm really watching the comments. And all I kept seeing was, where's 50? Why isn't 50 commenting? Where's 50? Because, with Ja Rule there, you would think he would start cracking jokes. But what, it's like, damn, 50 that big? But stop it, bro. Your negativity is too powerful. Stop it.
Yeah, and that's why I stay away from negativity as much as I can, because you can't be positive and be a light if you've got people pulling you down and with negative stuff that's unnecessary.
Yeah, I'm not about that. This is why I love what you do, because you're all about empowerment. You keep like navigating. Look at you. You're saying you do movies. You got comics. You do short films. You work the music. And you incorporate all that knowledge that you've experienced, in this journey. So what are some kind of the key ingredients for success that you could tell any people up and coming, with that sauce you've been doing?
The key ingredient for success, I would just say working hard and staying focused. That's half the battle. Because some people are just like you get distracted with something and you start going in another direction. It's just like, really, what happened for me was, I'm a writer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a direct and all this stuff. It's like, okay, where's there a way to bring it all together? So it's all working together. So that's what Shero Comics, where it's multimedia, where we focus on films, games, and comics. So instead of having 3 separate companies for that, it's bringing it all under one umbrella to where there's a focus behind it, to where you can just focus on the company as a whole. A lot of people have a lot of different avenues and trying to do a lot of different things at the same time. It's just like, okay, is there a way to bring that together? Is there a way to kind of like make it all and streamline it or whatever? So that's one of my things I feel like to success is like streamlining your vision, your goals, and kind of put them together. Another thing is meeting people, trying to meet the right people, strategize, look up people. I was in InStyle magazine, I think in 2019, maybe. That was because I strategized. I met the editor and I told her what I was doing. I showed her what I was doing. And she was like, okay, we need to write about this girl. And that's how I got into InStyle. And I'm not a celebrity. I'm not Jada. Like Jada Pinkett's article was next to mine. I'm just like, is this real? But that was just me hustling and me meeting the editor and telling her who I was. And she put me in the magazine. So I was just like, yeah, it's just like you got to hustle and strategize and try to get into the people's ears that you want to be a part of your crew or whatever. So really, that's what it is too.
how do you find out about where to be though? Because how did you even
Well,
run into that opportunity?
paying attention. That's another thing.
Epa!
And you had to pay attention. There's a lot of stuff online, a lot of social media stuff that's happening. There's a lot of yeah, but it's just like, okay, let me see what's going on. So there was an event that was in LA that they were hosting. She was going to be at, and I was just like, okay, she's going to be there. I'm going to be there. That's the street hustling, the
Serious.
Def Jam days of hustling. They try to get to like that's where that comes in play. So it's like,
Really?
let me go be there, go listen to her. And right afterwards, I was standing on the side of the stage to talk to her. And then there were some other girls that were there too, and they knew who I was somehow. I don't know how. They
Oh,
were like,
word?
you know what
Nice.
Shero Comics is? So that helped too, because she was like, oh, well, they know who she is. And so that's
Nice.
what happened. So I was like, yeah, it's just strategizing. A lot
So
of people
I
don't.
want to make sure you ain't hire those mommies, right? They just
No,
knew.
I didn't know who they were. I was surprised that they knew who I was. I was just like, oh, okay.
I love
No,
it. So
yeah.
yeah, a little bit about Shero. When did you
Mhm.
even come up with the concept to develop Shero Comics, and what's the full, mission statement for it?
Oh, the mission statement. Well, our goal is to help women find their superpowers, help minority women find their superpowers in the worlds of films, games, and comics. That's what we're trying to do here, and that's what I do with Shiro Con is to try to bring women together so they can feel safe, they can feel like they're seen, and they can feel like they're heard. There's a lot of we have a Shiro alley of all women, so that's kind of what my concept is, especially minority women, but women as a whole as well, all over the world. So yeah, Shiro Comics. I was working for Coca-Cola. I was in Beverly Hills, driving down the street, and I was trying to think of Rayven Choi Films was my company before I had the comic books. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to release the books underneath that name because it's the name of the book. And so I was like, what's the name of my company then? And I can publish this under the arm. And so Shero just kind of came to me. I was just like, oh, that's probably going to be gone. So I got home, went on GoDaddy, and Shero Comics was available. I was just like, that's stupid.
Oh
No one thought of
snap!
this.
You're
Like
like, oh
nobody thought of
shit!
this before. So
You were
I
like
was
that
like,
Kermit meme, right? You were like that
yo,
Kermit meme typing. Oh shit! Wait a minute!
yeah, it's like let me buy this right now. And so I bought the site or whatever, and then
Nice.
released the first book on it. And at Comic Cons, when we got to the first Comic Con, I had like a step and repeat. I had a thing made up so people can take pictures on it. And that was like a hit. Like people love that. They love Shero Comics. Little girls were walking by like Shero.
I
It was
still
just
got the
like
lip balm.
it was, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was so inspirational for them. I'm just like, wow, there's really something to this. And so, yeah, so we kept releasing the books or whatever and kept traveling with it to military bases and to Comic Cons or whatever. And just the reaction from them with Shero Comics, it's just like that grew into something bigger than I ever thought it would be. The Comic Con, the going around the world or whatever type of thing. Like, and it was in 2018 when I saw you last at New York Comic Con.
Yes.
I had Marv who did Blade. What's
Wolfman.
Marv's last name? Wolfman. Yeah. So me and Marv had been at the Comic Con here in LA before, and we were neighbors before. So I ran into him in New York, and he was like, Shaqueta, he was like, every time he says, he's like, Shero Comics. Like, why didn't I think of that? And I'm like, Marv, you had the whole 60s to think of this. Nobody was thinking about women. All these years in comics, y'all was thinking about us.
Talking all this shit about women, equal rights, and I never thought about this, right?
And I'm like, y'all never thought about women before. So he's like, that is such a great name, Shaqueta. And so then in New York, he was like, yeah, you better go ahead and trademark that. I was like, I'd already kind of started on that. And so he was like, you better go ahead and trademark that. I was just like, yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I already got everything else was already together and I'd already been selling under the name. That's what they want at the trademark office. You need to be selling already.
You need proof of use. Yeah.
Right, proof of use. And so I already had that proof or whatever. And so went ahead and filed it, and it was history. Like I couldn't trademark the word comics, so I ended up just trademarking the word Shero, which is even more beneficial because now Shero is mine for all of the categories that I have.
So you couldn't do Shero Comics, but you could do Shero.
Yes. So they just
that's good. That's cool though. That's your word.
That's even better. But I mean, comics can't be trademarked because comics is
yeah.
But Shero is
well, wait a minute. If that's the case, then the San Diego Comic Con needs to stop its nonsense by using the word Comic Con.
Gosh, that whole thing with them, and and the Salt Lake City or whatever. It was just like, why are y'all even wasting time? Only the lawyers are getting paid. This is just, it belongs to the people. It's just like it belongs to us who attend Comic Cons. It's ours.
Yeah. It's a Comic Con. You don't own that name.
No.
The Comic Convention. How could you own the word of an event?
I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but I know when I went to file for Shero Comics, they were like, comics is a word that's kind of a general, word. You can't trademark that, but Shero. And I'm just like, great, because I like Shero. Like that's like Marvel had Marvel comics, but they just go by Marvel. So I'm just like, I'm good with Shero.
So when it comes to your font, is that something that you created, and is unique to Shero?
What do you mean? My what?
The font for your logo.
Oh, the font.
I was speaking to Janice Chang, right? And she was telling me all about unique fonts and all this.
Yeah.
So I was like, now I'm interested. So
are these unique fonts? That font, I was a font that I bought online or whatever. I had rights to use it for commercial purposes. And so I wanted something that was as simple as the other logos, but then I wanted a little bit of extra. So at the O of Shero, the reason why it's a target is because a lot of times minority women are targeted for stereotypes or whatever. So that's what that means. So that's why the O is like that as a target, is like a crosshair, because we're always in the mix of being in someone's scapegoating us, doing all kinds of stuff to us. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna make the target for good. So that's what
I don't understand that. I really get bothered by that insecurity, which is what I call it.
Yeah.
What's the problem? Let them do their story. Why does it bother you? If you don't like it, don't fucking read it. I mean, again, that's just how I go with it. That's just me.
You saw the whole controversy with God of War that just happened with they released the visuals for the game, and they were like having a bitch fit about it having one black character. It's just like,
oh my god,
the world is in.
That was a black god. Oh my god.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
and that's another reason I want to do games, is because that needs to be regulated. So I want to create something so good that y'all can't even.
Yeah, that needs to stop, yo. I mean, gaming, like a color in a game is not dominant. Stop that shit right now. Don't even fuck around. Characters are characters. What's the problem?
I mean, majority of the world is of color, so it's just like, what are y'all?
God forbid you put me in a video game, big whip out with gray hair, walking around with a Puerto Rican flag and underwear, probably in the video game. I'm gonna embarrass you guys. I'm gonna get you guys angry. I'll do it on purpose. Don't get no ideas for your game now. Representing me, how dare you? So what's in the future? She goes, no, I won't do that to you. So what's in the future? For Shero, for Rayven. And what else? And is there anything else coming up outside of that?
Okay, so the future, like when I met you in 2018, we were shooting a documentary, so we had cameras there. So I'm working on an ending for the documentary. Like we have all this footage from Korea.
You're still doing it?
No, well, yeah, we're finishing it now. So it's been what, 4 years of shooting?
Wow, I mean, a 4-year journey of shooting. So I can't wait to see this, kid.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we've been shooting since we started in Korea. We went to North Carolina, my hometown. We started at home. We went to Indonesia. We went to New York. Came back. I did my own Comic Con, LA Comic Con.
Wait a minute.
Shero Con in LA.
You said that Korea and Indonesia. How are those markets, and how did they receive you? I'm curious.
You're gonna see it in the documentary. It was great though. I'll just give you a sneak peek though. But like in Korea, like we sold out of books. I thought I sold out sooner. So in the documentary, you'll see me like panicking, because it's like there's still a whole day left in the Comic Con, and I don't think I have any more books. And then I remember that on the table, I used some of the books to make the display. So my producer was like, "Wait, what's that?" And I was like, "Those are my other books." So we had like one thing of books. So we got through Comic Con in Korea. We had like maybe 2 books left. But then I had another event. I had to go to the military base in Korea. So I had to have more books printed while I was there. So we sold that.
Oh my God, I can't see this process and you freaking out.
It was amazing. I was freaking out.
I'm gonna be scared for you. Don't do this to me. You're gonna get me stressed watching this.
It's like anything that could go wrong goes wrong, especially when you're going overseas somewhere. So there was a lot of that happened, but I mean, we got out of it unscathed. It was a dope experience to do that. Indonesia, like there was a lot of military personnel that was in Korea. In Indonesia, There was none of that. It was just straight up Indonesian people. So it was like, okay, this is going to be the true test, because in Korea, it was like I sold to a lot of Korean people that that live there, but then I also sold to a lot of military people as well. They were happy to see me because I had shirts that were their sizes. And so in Indonesia, it's like, well, this is another test, because this is just, they're straight up, everybody's here is Indonesia. There's maybe one black person that I saw there, maybe like 2 white people that were there, like with the consulate or something or whatever, or with the U.S. embassy. But everybody else was Indonesian. But oh my God, it was like with open arms. They were so happy to see me. The women were just like coming up to me like, this is so great. I'm so glad to see a black woman doing this and a black character. So nice. It was great. I can't wait for you guys to see the footage from it. It was amazing. So like right now is me doing the ending of it. It's just like, okay, Rayven is done. So we've done 5 books now, going into trade paperback. So that'll probably be the end of the documentary. So it's been a whole process. Been a whole
Wonderful.
process. That's what's next.
Any ETA on that?
Well, it just depends on what happens in the next couple of weeks. Like by the end of the year, when we get some trade paperback, then we can kind of like finish the documentary. So right now I'm just looking for finishing funds to edit. So that's why I'm applying for grants right now to kind of get that popping. Also, like I say, like we're trying to do Rayven as a game. So handling that, talking to different people in the industry that are in that avenue. That's been really cool to meet some new people on that world. The prequel of Rayven Choi, which is Young Grandmaster Choi, probably will come out with next year, where we go back and show Rayven growing up as a little karate kid in Korea and just kind of her dealing with her parents' death right after it happens. But it's not going to be sad. It's going to be a really fun little story for little kids to see, little karate kids to watch. It's going to be 4 books probably, and we're probably going to do a animated show with it, a series. So, lots of stuff. I mean, just writing. What I've been doing with my writing, with my screenwriting, is creating hybrid projects. So I'll write a comic book for it, and then I'll write the film for it. So the movie that's out right now that I had a meeting about this morning it's called The Legend of Cahokia. So it's a franchise, and it starts out with like an 8-page comic that goes over the mythology of what happens in Cahokia. Then the movie goes is like Jumanji, like they get sucked into this Native American underworld. So it's a really fun action type of a movie. So next year I have 2 projects like that we're going to do with a comic and a film. So that's kind of how I'm rolling out stuff for Shero at this point.
I love it. Look, the woman is nonstop, yo. Busy. I love it. This is why one of my favorite entrepreneurs, yo, that it keeps inspiring me, because she keeps totally busy, yo. Some real business. Yeah, what? You're a mogulpreneur. You're like, I've hashtagged that mogulpreneur, because you like, because you hit in all aspects.
Well, I tell people that's my thing. I want world domination.
Well, let's do it.
I tell people.
Let's be picky in the brain. Let's do. What are you doing tonight?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm thinking. What are you doing? Gonna take over the world.
Let's do it.
So that was the cartoon that inspired all of this. Was Pinky in the Brain. That's all. I used to always say that, actually.
Yeah, I love that shit too, yo. Growing up, right? This little bastard, but he's so right. Let's do it, kiddo. You know. So with that, yo, Shequeta, you've been an awesome guest. Yo, love talking with you. You're so inspirational, so ambitious. It's just infectious. I mean, whoever is listening to this is probably fired up and probably looking stuff up. I want to start my own thing too. You're an inspiration, yo. Thank you so much for hanging out. So, folks, there you go. Check out the social media. She's killing it everywhere with Shero Comics. All right. She's trademark. Okay, she's on that trademarks business. And then on the website, SheroComics.com. Check out all the amazing projects, from the comics to the short films to everything she's going to do. Women, this is the future, right? This is why you got to inspire, like what she's doing. Yo, she's very inspirational, for real. Thank you. Give you your flowers, yo. Just thank you for sharing of yourself. Thank you for sharing your talent. Thank you for sharing your ambition, not being afraid, for putting yourself out there. For people like myself that eat this stuff up, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. And thanks for supporting me over the years. It's like, it's hard out here for a pimp, man. It's like, so I get people like you that support and that post about the stuff that we're doing, it helps a lot. I mean, there's a lot of noise out here. A lot of people, trying to get your attention. So it's cool when someone says, I see you, and they support support.
Well,
So I'm glad you came
I'm
to my
always
table
gonna
in New
support.
York. It was good to see you.
Uh,
Hopefully we'll be at Comic-Cons again one day.
wifey could tell you when I saw Shero Comics, I said, "Babe, I gotta stop here. I've been supporting her stuff for a minute. We gotta stop here." She's like,
And they had me in the back. They had me all the way in the back.
Yeah.
That was the Comic-Con that I thought was gonna break me. I thought I've been all over. We went to Korea. We went to all these places, but New York, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it out of this one alive. Like by day 2, I had lost my voice. I couldn't speak. My producer, I'm like, you're gonna have to capture and sell. It was crazy.
That made me happy though, because that whole section was in fact very busy at that time.
Yeah, I was.
And it showed the support of the people.
Yeah, what they said that they did was in the back they put the more popular people.
Yeah,
I got someone else's table, so I wasn't the popular person. They put back there a lot of the people, like the guys who were Batman or whatever. They put them back there so people would be forced to walk to the back to get their autographs from them. So like if you looked on the other rows, there were other like major guys who were back there like signing stuff, and I was just there like, hey,
Don't be so humble though. Don't be so humble. You big time yourself, girl.
Marv was up on the other end of it, so I knew like, okay, if I'm back here, they saying the celebrities are back here, like, I don't know.
Hey, take it. That's what
I did. We cleaned up in New York. We did really, really good in New York. So I'm so happy about that.
I would hope so, because New York is a big comic book town, and I'm glad that they actually supported that whole side and they actually visited your table. That's very important, because again, as a female POC creator, I want other people to see that. My daughter, she goes to Full Sail University, for example. She's going to be a future creator. And I love for her to see, individuals like yourself, strong women in the business, kicking the fuck ass, not taking no for an answer and just making stuff happen. So, thank you for being that inspiration to many young ladies and young men, and even old men like myself.
Thank you.
All right. No, thank you. So what's up, folks? You know what to do. Please, I'm going to show it one more time before we go. It's SheroComics.com.
Yes.
Not just the website, but also all over the social medias, yo. Check it out, Rayven Choi, all that good stuff, yo. Shequeta's an amazing creator, an amazing brand ambassador, and she definitely has her eye on the future when it comes to great content, not just POC content, but great content. You know what I mean? Which is what for me is the most important part of everything right there. Is like, you know what? The color shouldn't matter. It's the story that should. And when you make good stuff, it definitely shows. So I can't wait to see the documentary, the TV show, and read the next volume, because you got me hooked. And with that, Almega, Shequeta Smith, you know what to do. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.shop and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.